What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Snowcast Sports Talk, episode 26. John's second episode here. We got him on camera. We are both wearing jerseys that could be failed quarterbacks after this 2022 season.
Baker Mayfield jersey right here. Had it custom made. These aren't ones.
It's a Cam jersey. Everyone.
The dream.
He's not coming back. I got the Daniel Jones jersey on. For anyone who's listening on Spotify, we appreciate it. We got a couple things to talk about, guys, so I think we're going to follow the same format as we did last time. We are going to do a couple larger NFL stories, and then we're going to just talk a little bit about the Giants at the end, as I am still the main host, and this is a Giants-related podcast through and through. We will get John in that jersey. The more likes, if we get 15 likes on this video, I will get John a jersey that he has to wear next Saturday.
Just the jersey.
Just the jersey, yeah.
I'm not wearing anything else. I'm just kidding.
All right, so first thing, Deshaun Watson. Me and John, we were talking before we do your facial expressions are so good. That was that face right there.
He's my second favorite DW.
So Deshaun's someone I think I'm going to be very honest. We avoid talking about here because, we don't want to go around, offending. I don't want to offend anyone. I think there's Deshaun fans that are really upset with what's been going on, but there's also activist movements that are really upset with what Deshaun's been accused of, and found guilty for, at least in the civil suits. But either way, just talking from the football standpoint here, Deshaun was suspended for 6 games. Now, that was not from the NFL. It must have been the court, or it must have been some sort of hearing for him. I don't want to talk specifics because I'm not quite sure. But the NFL basically put in an appeal to basically either increase or decrease the amount of games he is suspended. So, first of all, that's pretty interesting, just on its own, that the NFL is kind of trying to step in and have him in sooner or take him out later. So I guess my first question, John, is do you think they're trying to increase his suspension or decrease?
Increase. Roger Goodell has always played hardball. I think the NFL likes to play hardball with this, dude. There's no way, dude. Can you imagine just the upheaval in the NFL community if he decreases it?
It'd be crazy. I mean, I think the thing is
it'd be bad, and there's no way they would do that without something going on behind the scenes that none of us know about. On this note alone, they're increasing it. They have to be. Probably only another 2 or 3 games, but just to make a point out of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, the two things I want to talk about. The first thing is, and I think this is awesome. I think the NFL the past couple of years has really been making this stride to be more inclusive, especially to women. Having women referees, a lot of women coaches now, which is really cool. Even with the Giants, Brian Dable's very involved in this equality of the sexes when it comes to being involved with football. Obviously, only guys play football, but that doesn't mean we can't include. My girlfriend loves the game and watches all the games with me, So I think it's very counterintuitive for Deshaun. And what I said to John before the call, we were kind of going through this a little bit, kind of saying, what we want to say and how we want to present it. Regardless of anything, I think it's really weird that Deshaun has had so many masseuses and his habits are very strange. And I just think, there should be some sort of penalty for some of the things that have been going on with Deshaun. And 6 games maybe is enough. Maybe it should be more. Maybe it should be less. It's not my choice. But I agree with you, John. I think Goodell is coming for blood on this one. He's trying to make a case out of it. I don't know if you've heard of the Falcons receiver. Now I forget his name, of course, on air. But he was suspended for a whole season because he bet $400 on a game. A whole season because he bet.
Yeah, they go hard. Roger Goodell goes hard.
Totally. So I think, they want to get Deshaun for more. I personally think it was a very silly move by the Browns to pay this guy a $230 million, 100% guaranteed, and move off of Baker. I think John maybe agrees with that even more than I do. I think Deshaun's obviously a better quarterback, but I don't know. So I don't know if you have any other comments. I just think Goodell's coming for more. I didn't think we want to sit on this too much. I personally don't. I'm not rooting for Deshaun all that much to come out and ball out. I'd love to see the Browns suck again because I just thought this was a silly move. So that's just my opinion.
No. I would not mind seeing him suspended the whole season in the Browns tank.
Yeah, but I mean
Sorry to my best friend out there.
they have a good team, and Jacoby Brissett's not a horrible backup. And also, that could be where Jimmy G goes.
Can you imagine?
Jimmy G, Deshaun Watson.
So.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, the thing is, it's a trade. Jimmy G's not a free agent. Like, the 49ers want to trade for him. Who would trade for Jimmy G? That's my thing, you know? I guess let's add in a topic here. Yeah. Oh, my God, John, you're right. Jimmy G to the Giants. That's a great segue.
Oh,
we don't have that in the list, but let's talk about it. What do you think about that?
It's weird. I wish they would do it, but for reasons that you and I have talked about, they won't, because this is the will Daniel Jones make it or break it, and if he is the break it, then you got to get rid of him and get a good draft pick. And so if you bring in Jimmy G, you're just going to have an okay season and get the worst of everything. And that bums me out because I think I was listening to someone talk about this, but Jimmy G is a baller. Yeah, maybe in those super clutch moments he's not throwing absolute dimes, but like holy crap, there are two quarterbacks in the history of football I've seen do that, and that's Tom Brady and
Mahomes.
Joe Burrow.
And Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes. But you pointed out that game during the
yeah,
but Jimmy could have done what Mahomes did.
Yeah, but in the Super Bowl when
in
the Super Bowl when they were playing each other, remember Mahomes had that really great pass to Tyreek Hill at the end of the game. It was
fair.
You know what I'm saying? But Jimmy missed.
See if that's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, fair.
No,
I don't think so.
I'm with you though. I'm with you. I think we'll make it 3. But either way.
Yeah,
I put Jimmy G in the top 10 quarterbacks, 12 maybe, in the league right now, and only because there's so many good ones.
So I guess
year he'd probably be in the top 10. So I guess one at the point I'm making real quick, the Giants are a big team. Maybe they don't have the best record every year, but it's New York. They've had big names. They're big. It's like a big city. It's a big. Like they're bigger than the Jaguars. You know what I mean? They're big market, and Jimmy is like. He's a big figure, and so I really think he would fit in there very seamlessly. I wish they got him earlier, and they had been procuring this like training of his to then pop off one of these years with the Giants. I think now would be tough, but I'd be excited to see it. I'd go get a Jimmy jersey. If he went, they'd win the division, and I'd get a Jimmy jersey.
Here's my thing.
They'd probably still lose the first game in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's my thing. So the first thing is we have a new GM and a new head coach, Joe Shane and Brian Dable. Obviously, ownership has said to them, hey, you got a couple years to figure this out. This team is cap-strapped. You're going to have to cut a bunch of guys. The draft picks might not, a lot of draft picks don't really start turning out until their second or third year. So, the Giants this year, there's no pressure on them. So that's the first reason I wouldn't take Jimmy, because you don't need to ball out. The second thing, and this is a very biased Giants fan wearing a Jones jersey loud and proud, I think Daniel Jones' ceiling is unknown. Like, how good can Daniel Jones be? No one knows. Everyone knows how good Jimmy can be. Like, it's no secret the 49ers have one of the most creative, dynamic, effective offensive playbooks in the NFL. So, like, Jimmy's been with the creme de la creme of offensive systems. And he wasn't able to get there to he was able to get to the Super Bowl, but he wasn't able to like win that game. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what Jones is yet. And you have no pressure on you. And let's say Jones stinks, then you get a good draft pick. You're right, John. If Jimmy comes, it's always just going to be 500 mediocre, and then you can never get that top tier quarterback. And also, too, we don't owe Daniel Jones anything after this year. So why not give him one more chance with an improved offensive line, an improved wide receiver group, an improved offensive coordinator, an improved head coach. I think all those things, you don't know what Daniel Jones can be, but we know what Jimmy can be. And we have the luxury, and Brian Dable and Joe Shane have the luxury to give Daniel Jones a shot this year and not face any penalty if, like, let's say he sucks. And Jimmy will always be there next year. You know what I'm saying? So it's not...
Go get him next year. Yeah. Which might not be
and the thing is, too, is if Jimmy was a free agent, then sure. But I'm not trading draft capital for Jimmy G. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And Jimmy G has a $25 million contract this year. We can't even afford that. I don't feel like anyone talks about that. We only have $4 million in cap space. How do we get Jimmy?
Yeah, you have to trade draft picks.
Yeah, but
something.
You have to trade players.
You have to give away some... Right. players.
But
Something
we,
you
we
don't
don't
wanna
we
give
don't
up.
have any players. Like if you look at the Giants, we lost Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers, James Bradbury. Like our defense is definitely very different from last year, and our offense, we need all of those pieces because just like Daniel Jones, we need to see if they'll work out. Thank you for reminding me about this because we were going to talk about this last week, but we decided to save it for this week. But yeah, Jimmy to the Giants makes no sense for me this year. Like if let's say Daniel Jones goes 500, but we don't want to keep him, then Jimmy's a great choice for next year. But we already have Tyrod. So it's tough. I feel bad for Jimmy. I guess the question is, let's take Jimmy away from the Giants because a lot of people give him the highest probability to the Giants. Where do you think Jimmy goes? Like, and you can say the Giants. I personally just don't think it's the right choice. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But where do you think Jimmy goes?
If not the Giants.
Yeah, where? And I know, like, we had no time to think about this, so.
Dude, the problem is, in my opinion, there's a lot of teams right now betting on terrible quarterbacks.
Like
and
who?
they are happy with the kid on the Eagles, the kid on the
Hurts?
Saints. Yep, those are two I
Winston?
would take. I would drop them for Jimmy without even but the problem is, it's some sort of trade. It's not easy. He's not a free agent.
No,
If he
exactly.
was a free agent, I mean, I wouldn't even think twice. I'd be like, listen, like, we're looking at
I would argue with
a two-time NFL NFC championship. Like his stats.
He took him there last year, John. He
Stats,
took him there last year.
he's brought him there twice, and it's
One
like,
game away from the Super Bowl. But is that
I would
Jimmy
put a
or
lot
is
of-
that the 49ers?
It's to me, it's Jimmy.
We're going to know
I
this
don't
year.
think
We're going
I
to
don't think Trey's going there.
I don't know, dude. I really think Kyle Shanahan. I mean, dude, they're a run-first team. They have a great offensive line. They have a great defense.
True.
Like, you know what I'm saying? The 49ers are a pretty, like, dynamic team.
I think the community gives the credit to the 49ers.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's why Jimmy is seen as lackluster in the eyes of most right now. Because
Do you remember-
everyone gives that credit to Bill with
do you
the
remember-
Patriots and then to the Shanahans.
Do you remember how the NFC Championship ended last year with the Rams and the 49ers? Remember Jimmy had
It was he
threw a bad
threw an
pick.
interception.
Bad pick, right?
Yeah.
And that's my thing about Jimmy. Quarterbacks like Joey Burrow, Tom Brady, I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have this too. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have this, the clutch gene. Like when you need to be clutch. And Jimmy doesn't have it, dude. Like fourth quarter, if I have Joey Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Tom Brady, I feel pretty damn confident giving them the ball. Justin Herbert, I think after this year we'll really know. I really love Justin Herbert. I just haven't seen enough of that yet. But I mean, look at Joey. Like he went all the way through the playoffs, like balling out all the way to the Super Bowl, and he was one sack away from like maybe having a game-winning drive. You know what I'm saying? But it's like with Jimmy G, you don't get that. Jimmy G's like this guy, a lot like a lot of Daniel Jones fans think. He needs a lot of pieces around him to be good. And then even then, he's not going to win you a Super Bowl, which is what most teams want to do. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I still I think he stays as a backup on the 49ers then.
Yeah, you don't think anyone
If
takes
he
him?
doesn't go to
Yeah.
if he doesn't go to the Giants, we're gonna watch a lot of teams do really bad.
Jimmy
and
G will
they
get a
just-
spot
they
in the
just-
middle of the year when someone gets hurt.
Yeah, maybe, could be. Yeah, I could see that. I'm
trying to think of teams.
The problem is there's just so many teams who think they're gonna do well. Like imagine Jimmy G on the Dolphins with Tyreek Hill.
That's what
would be cool.
I was just thinking that because you know who the new Dolphins head coach is. It's the offensive coordinator from the 49ers last year.
Be awesome. Be epic. But instead, they think Tua can.
But again, it's the same thing.
watch him
Hurts, Jones, and Tua have the same thing going on. We just don't know yet. So it's like,
And
why
so you may
not?
as- And you've already paid him.
Yeah. Or they're on rookie deals, so they're cheap as hell. You can surround them with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope the best for Jimmy. Jimmy's just in a tough spot where I think the AFC has a lot of young quarterbacks that we still haven't seen a lot from. And then the NFC has either teams that are ready to go to the Super Bowl with their, like the Packers obviously are going to ride with Aaron. The Rams will ride with.
Yeah, maybe this is Aaron's last year riding there, and then they grab Jimmy. That would be cool.
I think Aaron has one more year after this. I think in the 3-year deal he signed, but either way, yeah, I feel bad for Jimmy. If he came to the Giants, I think it's one of these things where so let's talk about just for a final piece, like let's say he comes to the Giants, how would I feel? It's not the move I would make, but I am going to be a very big fanboy here. I personally love Joe Shane and Brian Dable, and if they've assessed Daniel Jones in this offseason that he's not good enough and they want to ride with Jimmy, then hell yeah, figure out how to do it. I support it. Like, I will support it, but it's not what I would do this year. Like, I just think Jones, his ceiling might be higher, and it's worth taking a year where ownership's okay with you guys kind of not being a playoff team. Obviously, they want you to, but they won't get fired this year. You know what I'm saying? They have like a safe year. So you might as well see what Jones has. And you have to pay him. Even if you cut Jones, you have to pay him his fourth year. So.
Yeah, I think you win the division if you get Garoppolo, and you have to decide if that's worth more than draft picks.
I just don't think so, because I don't think you'll win the Super Bowl with Garoppolo, and no team is like, oh, we just want to get to the playoffs. Not. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Yeah, but the Giants could use like we won the division kind of hype, you know.
I just think if Daniel Jones turns out the way everyone hopes he does, they could still win the division.
They might. I think I said they might in our last podcast.
Yeah. You gave them a pretty nice record, so.
Definitely still good. I think that chance just goes up a lot.
Okay. I got another thing we're going to talk about at the end here. Let me type it in, but I don't want to tell you what it is yet because I don't want you to have any time to think about it.
All right.
Blind. All right, next topic. So another NFL topic here. Lamar Jackson, quarterback for the Ravens. So just a little bit of backstory, a little bit maybe on Lamar, if I don't hit the mic 3 more times. Lamar came out of the draft in 2018, I believe. So we had... Baker Mayfield go number 1, Sam Darnold went number 2, Josh Allen went number 3. This is in quarterback, not in draft spots. And then we had Josh Rosen go number 4, and then Lamar went in the first round at the end. I would argue all these years later, and John, you can tell me if you disagree, I think Josh Allen's clearly the best out of that draft, and then you can argue very, very easily that Lamar is the second best. I know Baker Mayfield obviously is like there's not a lot, but Lamar, I mean, he's won a league MVP. I think he has like a 25-10 record or something like that. It's a crazy good win percentage. But he hasn't been paid yet. You know, Josh Allen got his big contract. The Jets and the Browns moved off from Darnold and Baker, but Lamar is still on the Ravens. So the topic here is, you know, and a lot of people have been talking about this, should Lamar get a contract extension? And so I think yes. I think Lamar has done enough to deserve a contract extension. I think Lamar, the hit he always gets on him is he's not great at throwing the ball. He's much better at running. And so people will say, like, he's not a great quarterback, but he's a great football player. And do you want to pay a great football player $50 million a year? But I think he should, because quarterbacks are so hard to come by in this league. It's a gamble,
not. Jimmy, bro, where does he go?
And here's my thing. This is my final piece. If Dak Prescott deserves a contract and Kyler Murray gets a contract extension, then Lamar Jackson absolutely, because I would take Lamar over both those guys in a heartbeat. Lamar absolutely deserves a contract extension then.
Dude, you know what's so interesting about this? I think it has a lot to do with just the divisions. Who's in the division with the Cardinals?
They're in the NFC West, so that's going to be the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. That's a tough division.
But they already have second. They'll get second.
I don't think so. I think the 49ers will get second.
That's a debate for another day. I would say that the Vegas, I don't know this for sure, the Vegas over-under on that opinion would go to Kyler. Kyler and the Cardinals get a lot of hype. People are like,
but they always
excited.
Fizzle, dude. They always
weird.
fizzle. They always fizzle.
Billy. There's a reason Tom Brady is the only quarterback I really love, dude. Trust me. I know that. But you still get second in the division, I think, because Trey's just going to be new, and the Seahawks are tanking. And so
with Lamar, though, yeah.
And so, yeah, I know. But to my point, you pay Kyler because you know you'll get second in your division.
And maybe get a playoff spot.
For probably 2 years, 3 years, unless Trey does ball out. And right there is what you're paying for. And then we go and we look at Dak. I still think at this second, the Giants have the best ceiling. The Cowboys have the highest floor. They're the team in the NFC who has consistently shown they're good for the longest amount of time in the last 5 years.
They do.
The ones have kind of done this.
But the Cowboys, the Cowboys do that each game though. They'll win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 3, win 3. Like they're always. But either way.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is they believe they can win the division with Dak.
Of course.
Now we go look at Lamar. If Deshaun gets a game off from the NFL for some reason, and Joe Burrow's in there, the Ravens are getting third. They're getting third. And who's the other team in there? It's another good one, I thought.
So you have the Bengals, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Ravens. I think the Ravens have second place.
Third.
Who gets second?
If Deshaun plays the Browns.
You think the Browns are better with Deshaun? You think Deshaun's better than Lamar? I do too.
If Deshaun comes out, what people say Deshaun comes out with, because you've said it yourself, the Browns have a nice setup right now. They
have a great team. Right they remind me of the 49ers.
Dude, there's always a chance. Don't get me wrong. I am really rooting for Joe Burrow, but there's always a chance they get exposed this year and they lose out or get second or even third. So I think what they're trying to figure out is why. Like I guess here's an interesting point, dude. You look at a guy like Baker Mayfield and you say he's not good enough to bring my team where I want him to. Dude, in a lot of divisions, he is. And it's sad he's going to the Panthers because we might now never know. But in my opinion, Baker with the right team is pretty darn good.
Baker reminds me of Jimmy.
Put Baker in the NFC South. Once Brady's gone, they win consistently with any team other than the Panthers. You put him on the Saints, the Falcons, or the Bucs, he could literally take them to the top of there every time. The Panthers are just the worst team in the league. Either way, not the point. But you look at a guy like Lamar, and you have to ask yourself: is he going to actually bring us to the playoffs?
He has,
but not against Deshaun and Joe Burrow.
So
I think they're trying. They're like kangaroos stacking up right now, and they're like, whoa. So maybe.
Well, you got to remember too.
But I think they're trying to figure out what that contract is. In all fairness,
the problem is too
we need to know.
So the two things is Lamar also runs too much. I think for the Ravens to feel comfortable, because what if you're paying him a quarter of your salary cap and he's injured, and
dude, well, it's interesting, bro. Maybe this is where Jimmy goes. Maybe we full circle this, because if that's what they're worried about. Jimmy could fight against.
But the Ravens traded away their best wide receiver, Marquise Brown. They gave him to the Cardinals.
They have a really good tight end though, so that would actually.
Yeah, Mark Andrews is sick. He's good.
Yeah,
and we know Jimmy likes good tight ends. But my thing with Lamar is that. But the other thing is, and this is why the Ravens need to sign him, and this is why any team needs to sign a quarterback that can get them to the playoffs. Because all you got to do is get to the playoffs, and then you never know what'll happen. I don't think anyone saw the Bengals going. No one saw the Giants going in 2007 when they beat the Patriots undefeated. So you know what I'm saying? It's like you just need a quarterback that can get you to the playoffs. It's one of the reasons Daniel Jones, in my opinion, does not deserve a contract extension. He has never gotten us to the playoffs.
No. If he doesn't this year.
But Lamar Lamar was so good one year. He was the MVP. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And here's the thing. How many quarterbacks out of the draft do that? But the longer you wait, John, Lamar goes into the Ravens and he goes, Deshaun Watson, who hasn't played in a year and has 20-something sexual assault charges against him, got $230 million guaranteed. I want 260 guaranteed because I've done nothing but ball out for you guys. And then the Ravens are like,
look at him and they look at him
and they're like,
in their division and they're like, he wants all this.
But John, wait until Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert get paid. Then imagine how much, because every quarterback wants a little bit more than the previous. And imagine Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are going to make big money.
You know what's interesting about that? So Deshaun says that, but Lamar says that, but then where does Lamar go if they say no?
I think any team would pick up Lamar. I think the Seahawks would pick up Lamar.
They're tanking. They're not paying him shit.
No, but Lamar is not Jimmy. Lamar is a very.
No, but the Seahawks won't pay him. The Seahawks will.
Yeah, but they will. They would pay Lamar. Lamar is not even 25. Jimmy's 30-something.
The Seahawks are. I really believe it in my heart. The Seahawks.
Yeah, but John, but there's no quarterback in the draft that I'd rather have than Lamar, and the Seahawks and every other NFL team thinks the same way. I promise
I think you're right, but I don't think the Seahawks are even looking to draft someone in the next year, dude.
I think they are. Of course they are.
I think. Yeah, but it's gonna just be like they're gonna be like let's see and hope. They're not.
Yeah, but if you get Lamar, if you get Lamar, I would see the Eagles would take Lamar. Washington would take Lamar.
Over Jalen though?
Yep.
They would
yes.
be like, sorry, Jalen, we
Yep.
had a lot of faith and a lot of hope in you, but you're
It's
not
exactly what the Browns did to Baker. Baker is a young quarterback, but when
Fair enough.
Teams will jump off a young quarterback when another better young quarterback comes off. The problem with Jimmy is Jimmy's on the other side of his career, and we know what he is. We know Lamar is Jimmy's never even been thought of as an MVP. Lamar won it. Very few quarterbacks can ever say they've won an MVP. Even Tom Brady struggled to get MVPs. That's not an easy thing to get.
Yeah, because they don't know it.
Yeah, but
it's a tough acronym to remember what it stands for.
But
it means quarterback with most passing yards, right?
No, I think it's teams that's most elevates its players maybe. But either way, if Lamar became a free agent, it would be a bidding war. Lamar would make and the Ravens would live to regret it because it's very hard to find a quarterback as good as Lamar, let alone better. So,
dude, we'll see. I don't know.
They gotta pay him.
I don't think it would be a bidding war. I think he would end up going to a team who's just like, oh, we need a good quarterback. And
no, it would be the team.
I think there's
with the most
a weird
money.
amount of teams. There's a weird amount of teams with a lot of faith in their quarterback right now.
And there's a lot of teams that don't love running quarterbacks. But the Eagles, Lamar is an improvement from Jalen Hurts. Lamar is an upgrade from Carson Wentz. Lamar is a huge upgrade from Daniel Jones. He's an upgrade from Tua. And again, we saw the Browns do this. NFL teams will drop. Lamar is an upgrade from a lot of these starting quarterbacks. I think the only teams that wouldn't would be the Bucks, the Packers, the Rams, the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Browns. I think any other team would be in on that. I could see the Patriots, the Jets, the Dolphins. Oh, the Bills. They wouldn't do it either. Most teams would want Lamar.
It would be comedy. I would actually be so hyped to watch him go to the Patriots.
He'd be insane. I'm telling you though, Lamar's just and Lamar knows that. That's why he's going and saying, "You got to pay me the most money." Like,
yeah, but that's why they haven't yet because I think this is what the Ravens team is trying to.
Well, the Ravens team is thinking, this running quarterback, how long is he going to play? Most quarterbacks play till they're 40. I can't see Lamar unless he stays really healthy. And Lamar runs really smart. Lamar does not take hits. He'll take 6 yards and run out of bounds and let the other 4 yards for the next play.
No, Lamar's a baller. I think his place, though, is with the Ravens.
I do, too. If I was the Ravens, man, I'd sign him in a heartbeat because I think Lamar and the Ravens will always be able to compete with Joey, will always be able to compete with Deshaun, and will always be able to compete with the Steelers. It is always a competitive game. Like, it is never a blowout.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's a fact.
So, hopefully they sign him. So then, next thing, going into the Giants. Next week, the Giants have their first preseason game Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, against the New England Patriots. So, Joe Judge, the Giants head coach from last year, and Jabril Peppers, the star safety from the Giants, who was part of the Odell trade, are both on the Patriots. So, it's kind of their revenge game. I don't believe we'll see Peppers play at all. But I think the big story is we'll see how much Daniel Jones plays. And for Daniel Jones' sake, it would not shock me if Tyrod... I made this prediction a couple months ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. They're going to put Tyrod Taylor in there for a good amount of that game. Tyrod Taylor is going to play very well. Like, Giants fans need to prepare themselves for a very small quarterback controversy to pop up. Because Tyrod is going to look really good.
Yeah, and depending on how Jones does, he could look a lot better. You know what's cool, though, about both the Giants and the Patriots? They're cleaner teams in terms of, like penalties. So if they did Mac and Jones, it'd be weird if either got injured. You know, there are some teams where if they were, like, a preseason game, I'd be like the Bucks or the Eagles. Like, I'm not putting my fucking quarterback. I'm not putting my quarterback out there, though. But with that's a preseason game where you can start your players, and it feels as though both teams would honor this is preseason. Yeah,
what sucks, and obviously Dable worked for Bill Belichick for a while, and Nick Saban. So Dable's in that coaching club. But a little bit not off topic, but talking about injuries and preseason stuff. Matt Gano, he was an offensive lineman that we brought in as a free agent. He was gonna kind of bolster the back end, be a backup, but be a pretty serviceable one. He had a neck injury just happened in practice. He had to end his career. He hung up his cleats. And so with the Giants, yeah. And so these freak accidents happen, and so coaches have to.
Did you hear the Bucks guy, dude?
Yeah, the center. Huge.
Jensen's out for 6+ games.
That's tough. And Brady really depends.
Yeah, and you're right, on a practice.
And so the point I'm making is, you put Jones or Jones either side out there, one freak play, and you can lose them. But at the same time, Mac and Daniel, they both are in new systems, and they need that practice. Right. So what's the line you walk, And Dude. So I hope Jones gets a little playing time. I don't think Daniel Jones is good enough, to deserve not to be played at all. You know what I'm saying? There should be a couple... Right.
Right, it's almost like if he gets hurt, all of a sudden the Jimmy deal looks a little bit more appetizing.
And we need to see how he does. And we need to see how the offensive line does. And we need to see how Barkley looks and the wide receivers. But it wouldn't shock me if Barkley doesn't get any playing time. Barkley...
Barkley, too, we know Barkley is good when he's not hurt. So it's kind of more like we just want to keep him healthy.
But I just think Tyrod is going to get some real playing time, and I think he's going to really ball out. I think, and the segue into that is we get to see the Giants' new coordinator. So the Giants have changed up everything. So Wink Martindale, he's the defensive coordinator from the Ravens. He's now the Giants' defensive coordinator, and he's like a blitz freak. And now we get to see his defensive calls, even if it's with backups and stuff. We get to see a bunch of rookies, and we get to see how Wink's defense looks, which will be cool. So. And then also, too, we get to see Brian Dable. So, this new offense, I always tell people, and I tell John this all the time, the offensive coordinator from the Bills and the quarterback's coach from the Chiefs are now both on the Giants, and we get to see them. So.
And the Giants guys with the Patriots.
Yeah, yep, yeah. So we get to see Joe Judge, who I think is doing some offensive, and then we'll get to see some of the old Giants players over there, but. It's just going to be fun to see. Also, some of the rookies. I think we'll be able to see Kayvon a little bit. We'll be able to see Evan Neal. Hopefully, Wan'Dale Robinson gets some playing time, the wide receiver. So it'll be an interesting game. I'm going to watch the whole thing because I follow the draft really closely, so I know all the draft picks. So I'm excited to see all of them play. And it should be interesting. I hope Jones gets some playing time. Not a ton, but give him like a drive or two, just see how the offense does, and then we will go from there. Do you have any thoughts going? You have no other thoughts? I'll move to our last topic.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think they both should get a little bit of time in that game.
I think Mac needs it too. Belichick is known for playing his starters, though. That's a Belichick thing. Brady always played in the preseason, even after winning 4 Super Bowls. Brady would always go out for Belichick leans on the side of they need some practice with another team.
Yeah.
Which you're like, oh yeah, that's right, until a player gets injured, and then you're like, God, no, I shouldn't have thought that. So it's split. Dude. You don't know. So we'll see.
End the season before it starts.
Exactly. So final one here. We're gonna hold ourselves accountable this season, and we're each gonna make 2 or 3 bold predictions. Yeah. And then at the end of the year, we will come back and look at these and see if we were right or wrong. And hopefully that by that point, John is living closer to home, and me and him can go get drinks and have to buy the other one drinks on these bold predictions. Yeah. So, John, I'm going to give you 2 or 3. If you only have... Don't make a bold prediction you don't believe in.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Bold is subjective. It can just be a prediction. But I
have 3. I have my 3.
All right, let's do it.
And they are bold, but they're real.
All right, let's do it.
They're bold but real. The Bengals are in the Super Bowl.
Wait, whoop. I got to type these in. Bengals in the Super Bowl. Okay.
Baker Mayfield wins the starting quarterback job and stays on the Panthers after this year.
Baker wins. These are good. Starting job and stays. I'm gonna get some drinks. Stays on Panthers after this year. Okay.
Lions are by a landslide most improved team from last year.
Over the Giants.
Oh yeah, no, Daniel's tanking. We're not gonna see him next year. Sorry.
Lions are most improved
by a landslide.
All right, so what's the record? Give me a record. Give me a record.
Oh, it's so hard without looking at their schedule. But it's 17 total games this year.
Yeah. You can pick you can do a range 6-11 to 9-9.
Yeah, 5-12. Because last year they won 1 game, so even that would be enough.
No, they won.
the
They actually had the second pick. The Jaguars were worse than them last year. They must have won 3 or 4 games.
Okay, then let's go 6-11 to 9-8.
Wow. Okay.
Because no one's gonna see it coming. Goff is gonna be throwing fucking. Gosh, that twice, dude.
Twice.
Goff's gonna be throwing dimes though.
We're not gonna make any money on this episode. Thanks, John. Okay. Bold prediction number 1. I'm gonna say Giants have a winning record.
No, that's kind of bold.
No,
That's
it's
kinda
not. No.
We looked at their schedule, dude. They have such a nice schedule.
Trey Lance makes the playoffs with the 49ers.
Wow. See, now that one surprises me.
I think Trey Lance is better than Kyler.
Wait. What's their? Oh, that's right.
And the
So
Rams. And the Rams are in there too.
Right. It's pretty hard for a team to be third in the division and get to the playoffs, right?
Pretty hard.
Okay.
The NFC West did it last year, though. The Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers were all in the playoffs. Rams won a division. 49ers and Cardinals both got playoff spots. Wild card.
Yeah, that one, Billy. That one's bold too. But come on, dude, you're playing softball because the fact is the NFC is so bad. They could go.
Trey Lance and 49ers. Trey Lance and
better than the Cardinals.
Yeah, Trey Lance and 49ers better than Cardinals.
I like that. That's a good one. But you hear, he's going back to school now, so you should be smartening up a little bit.
Final one. I'm trying to think. Is it Bills win Super Bowl? Is that one too crazy?
No. I think, dude, if the Bengals can even make it to the Super Bowl, the Bills winning it is on that level.
Can I say Bills make Super Bowl, or do I have to say win?
Up to you.
I'm going to say Bills win Super Bowl.
That one's, I think, safe. I think because of Bills Rams, which is, I think, the most likely scenario. The Bills
that's also the first game of the year. Thursday Night Football, John. That's the first game of the year.
Yeah.
Bills have been to 3 Super Bowls in a row and lost all 3. So making the Super Bowl is not a huge thing for the Bills. They got to win the game.
Yeah.
So just to recap, John has Bengals in the Super Bowl. Baker wins starting job and stays on the Panthers after this year. Lions are the most improved team. They either have 6-11 through 9-8. Mine are Giants leave the season with a winning record. Trey Lance and the 49ers are better than the Cardinals this year. And Bills win the Super Bowl.
Those are good, dude.
Those are good. I didn't know what mine were going to be, but my 3 favorite teams in the NFL go Giants, Bills, 49ers. Those are my 3 favorite teams. So
That's probably Bucks, Cincinnati, Giants.
Hey, thanks for giving us a top 3.
Yeah, of course. Because honestly,
you never watch a boring
them
Giants
on the
game.
Patriots.
They're always
No, you
interesting.
don't. But that's what I mean. They're a big team. It's like a big.
Yeah, God, and everyone wants them to be
Not
good.
the Jaguars.
Everyone wants them to be good. But either way, guys, that's going to do it for episode 26. We appreciate you. If you guys are listening on YouTube, be sure to give us a like. If you are on Spotify, give us a rating. We'll be back next Saturday going over more stories. And until then, peace.